a woman vanished in the heart of New York. Days later, the truth shocked the entire nation. This story, which took place in the spring of 2021, shocked the entire United States. A 33-year-old New York resident disappeared on her way home through one of the busiest areas of Manhattan. She was missing for several days, and when the truth finally came out, the whole country was stunned. In this video, we will tell the story of what happened to Emily Carter and why this case changed how Americans view safety for women in big cities. Emily Carter was born in 1988 in the state of New Jersey. As a child, she moved with her parents to Albany, where she finished high school and later graduated from college. After that, Emily relocated to New York City and got a job at a large marketing agency in Midtown Manhattan. Within a few years, she became the head of the client relations department. On the evening of March 3, 2021, Emily visited a close friend in the Brooklyn Heights neighborhood. Around 9 p.m., she decided to walk home. The route was supposed to take about 45 minutes. While walking, Emily called her boyfriend. They talked for several minutes and agreed to meet the next day. That was the last time anyone heard from her. The following morning, her boyfriend contacted the New York Police Department and reported her missing. Detectives immediately reconstructed Emily's route from her friend's apartment to her own home on the Upper East Side. Hundreds of volunteers joined the search. They put up missing posters in subway stations, parks, and along the streets of Manhattan. Police interviewed more than 700 potential witnesses and reviewed dozens of hours of surveillance footage. On one camera, Emily was seen walking near the intersection of East 53rd Street and Lexington Avenue at 9:28 p.m. At that moment, she was still talking to her boyfriend on the phone. A few minutes later, another camera captured her passing a police patrol car, but none of the footage showed what happened next. The search continued for nearly a week. On March 9th, police announced the arrest of a suspect. The suspect was a 48-year-old New York City police officer named Michael Wilson. He worked in an elite unit responsible for patrolling areas near the United Nations headquarters, federal buildings, and diplomatic missions. Michael Wilson had access to police vehicles and carried a service weapon. Authorities did not publicly reveal what specific evidence led them to their own colleague. It was only confirmed that his home had been searched and that his domestic partner was briefly detained. She was later released without any charges. The news that a serving police officer was suspected of kidnapping and murder sparked outrage across the country. Women's rights organizations demanded that the case be transferred to a federal agency, saying they did not trust the police to fairly investigate one of their own. The situation escalated even further on March 10th. Human remains were discovered in a wooded area near the town of Poughkeepsie, about 60 miles north of New York City. The body had been placed inside a black plastic bag. It took forensic experts several days to identify the victim. Dental records were required for confirmation. The remains belonged to Emily Carter. Soon after, Michael Wilson was formally charged with murder. While in custody, he was taken to the hospital twice with head injuries. According to official statements, he sustained these injuries while alone in his cell. The entire nation was shocked that a police officer could abduct a woman in the middle of New York City on well-lit streets without anyone stopping him. On March 13th, people gathered to honor Emily's memory and express their anger. However, City authorities banned large public gatherings, citing COVID-19 restrictions. Despite the ban, hundreds of women assembled at an improvised memorial in Central Park, holding candles and signs. At first, the event was peaceful. Later, police moved in to disperse the crowd, which only fueled public outrage. Many Americans demanded the resignation of the NYPD commissioner. They questioned how a female police leader could order the breakup of a peaceful vigil held by women seeking justice for another woman. The President of the United States and the Mayor of New York publicly criticized the police response and promised to introduce new measures to protect women in public spaces. In the days that followed, even more people visited the memorial. This time, police stood back and did not interfere. Meanwhile, Michael Wilson prepared to stand trial. The public waited months to finally learn the full details of what had happened. On July 8th, he pleaded guilty. Investigators revealed that just days before the crime, Wilson had rented a car and purchased a roll of heavy-duty plastic wrap. He did not know Emily Carter personally. He chose her randomly after seeing her walking alone at night. It remains unclear how exactly he convinced her to get into his vehicle. Detectives believe he used his police badge and uniform to make her comply. Had he tried to force her, Emily would likely have screamed and drawn attention from passers-by. After abducting her, Wilson drove nearly 2.5 hours north to a rural area near the town of Kingston. There, he assaulted her, killed her, and hid her body. Months later, authorities confirmed that the cause of death was strangulation. His movements were reconstructed using traffic cameras and data from the car rental company. The day after the murder, he returned the rental car and told co-workers he was under extreme stress and no longer wanted to carry a weapon. On March 8th, the day he was supposed to report for duty, Wilson called in sick. The next evening, officers arrived at his home with an arrest warrant. It was later discovered that 40 minutes before their arrival, he had erased all data from his phone. During his first interrogation, Wilson told an elaborate and false story. He claimed that an Eastern European criminal group had forced him to kidnap a woman because he owed them money. Investigators immediately rejected this explanation. Even if it had been true, it would not have made him less responsible for Emily's death. Further investigation uncovered disturbing details from his past. In 2016, complaints had been filed against him for indecent exposure in public. At that time, there was enough information to identify him, but no disciplinary action was taken. In February 2021, just weeks before Emily disappeared, he allegedly exposed himself inside a restaurant. Police were called, but again, he faced no serious consequences. Only days before the murder, he had been questioned about that incident. This tragedy revealed how previous warning signs had been ignored. It also showed the public that a woman could be abducted in the very center of New York City, on brightly lit streets, without immediate help. To this day, authorities have not fully disclosed how they first linked Michael Wilson to Emily's disappearance. Many believe his rental car may have been spotted on surveillance cameras near her route. These details were expected to be revealed during the final court hearings. For now, the nation waits for the final verdict and hopes that justice will be served. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to File 13 True Crime for more stories.